Hello, everybody. Happy, what is it, Wednesday? We'll give everybody a minute or so just to get logged in here. I see Andrew's on. What's going on?
Hello, Jenna.
You made it. What's up?
I made it.
You made it.
Oh, we're busy today. We're busy, using all this good data to buy some houses.
Saving the world one house at a time is what I say.
That's right.
So what's going
That's
on?
second time seeing Sean today. I'm waving at you with my little mouse. Yeah, we're here, we're working. Excited to get into level two of Deal Finder data, like some of the CRM marketing pieces, and looking forward to that.
Okay.
What is going on? I don't know what else is going on. It feels like fall. That's why I've got my vest on today. Very excited about that.
Yeah, I was cold all day, and then I started putting together a new piece of furniture in my office, and now I'm hot, so I had to put a tank top on. I was
Yeah.
building because my office is expanding here. So. Do you
Yeah.
want me to just dive right into it, or did you have anything you wanted to share with the group?
Um,
Or
no, I think you're recording this, so we'll get the recording, and then anybody, who comes in late or whatever, we can kind of go back and they can watch the recording. But the consensus was that we had a fantastic overview in our first call, and obviously you didn't hit on everything, but you hit on most stuff. And one of the big questions or one of the big things is, how to use the CRM the best way, how to move, like, oh, wow, I see this house. It looks like a good one. Well, how do I move it into uh, action? How do I get it into either marketing or the CRM? And then if someone from our marketing or someone calls me from, like, I was just driving for dollars or whatever, and I need, and like they're on the phone, I need to start making notes and put them through, my process. How do we do that quickly? So I think that might be too much for today. I don't know. You tell me,
no,
but does that make
no, well,
sense?
yeah, I'll just kind of walk you through a real estate
Okay.
investing life cycle, and we'll kind of
Mhm.
from there. So I'm going to share my screen, and if there's a time that I think I'm sharing and I'm not, somebody's job to yell at me here. So let me just make this a little bit bigger. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to dive into the CRM side of the system. Now, I typically like to go follow a typical real estate investor life cycle. So if you can imagine, we have the ability to find our deals in the system. We have the ability to analyze the deals in the system, and we have the ability to liquidate our deals all in the same system. Now, we're going to be going through a couple of different locations. The goal is just for you to be introduced to some of these different tools. You don't have to be a master today. It's just kind of like saying, like, jump into my car, I'll show you the buttons, and then when you're ready, you can start driving on your own. But whenever you come into the left side navigation, just always understand that we do have our email support, we do have phone support, and then the bottom right is this live chat. So we do have a team that's sitting there, and if you send them a message, you don't have to just sit here and wait. They'll actually email it back to you as well if you prefer that way. And then also on the left side navigation, we do have our knowledge base, which is going to be different video walkthroughs, tutorials, screenshots, how to. You can even type in specific keywords and it will show you articles that are specific on that. Also, if you do have our AI version or our AI, our suite, we do have the ability where we do have a chat bot. So if you do have specific questions, you can just either verbally say it or you can record yourself or actually type it in here and it will help you as far as anything in regards to real estate in general or how-tos within the system itself. So it's a really cool tool for you guys to leverage. But on our first call that we had, most likely, we talked a lot on the lead engine side of the system, how to find motivated sellers and different recipes that we put together to be able to connect us. So let's kind of picture and imagine that we did some marketing, whether it be direct mail, whether we skip traced and we cold called, but let's just say somebody said yes. Okay, so we're going to take that and we're going to take it from a lead and kind of move it through the transition of is it a deal or not? It's not a deal yet, it's just a lead right now. And so a lot of our success will be based on our communication with our sellers after the fact. A lot of it is going to be a lot of our success will be based on our consistency and doing a lot of the things that most investors really just don't want to do because it takes effort. So I'm actually going to start us out in the lead engine side of the system where we spent the bulk of our time before. Now I'm just going to dismiss some of these things here. We can talk about it if we get to it. But I'm gonna be able to type in just an individual address. Okay, so just imagine we pulled a list of people that were out of state absentee owners or whatever we wanted to make up, and we called and we said, "Hey, do you have an interest in selling?" And they said yes. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in the actual address of the property, and I'm just making up one that I've played around with here in the past. And as soon as I start typing it, it's going to pop up. And when it does, this is my opportunity to analyze it. Now, I don't know how far we got as far as analyzing a specific deal on before when we were on our call before, but this is where it's like I get to know it. Now, do I do this step before I just cold call this person? Heck no. Because what if they didn't answer? What if the number was disconnected? What if they said take a hike and I just spent 5, 10 minutes looking at this deal? I only do this for like my warm leads for opportunities that I either my VAs brought to me and said, yeah, they want to sell it, or if I get somebody that does say yes, if I cold call them myself. And this is where I come in and we're integrated with Google Maps. So as long as Google has been there, we can virtually go see these properties, which is really cool for those of you who are doing some stuff maybe out of state or whatever it may be. But this is going to be our subject property right here. This two-story, it looks like a overgrown Jurassic Park kind of inspired house where it has a lot of shrubbery. But the goal is to let's look at the neighborhood. Basically the ugliest house on the worst house on the best street, or something like that. So I'm just going to be able to get a feel for it. And then from there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to X out of it. But I have a good idea. It's a two-story house. And this is where I come down and I look at the data. Data is really, really critical for us to analyze this. So I'm going to see our system puts it somewhere as is right now around 200 or $327,000. This is our AVM. The AVM is our automated valuation model. It's basically the value that our system places on a property in the as is condition as it sits right there. Now, the downfall is it's still a computer, it's still software, it could be off. It's not to be confused with the after repair value or what should offer on it. It's just basically like a Zillow's estimate for a lack of better terms. And sometimes it may be really accurate with what it will sell for, but the thing is that it's just looking at what has sold in the area in a similar condition or in a similar age, a similar size style. It does not know if it has granite countertops or a bunch of cats inside, so it's going to be up to us to know that, but it's giving just a ballpark. Now, where this could be off is like, let's say that the house next door just sold for $1,000 to a family member. Like that may throw off our AVM. So it's up to us to be able to actually put in work. Now we can see what the rents are in the area, and then I have the ability to see here what our system says would be a good number if I were to get it for a good wholesale price. That number is essentially the retail number minus 30 or 35% less. Now again, these numbers are not including if it needs a new kitchen, if it needs a new bathroom. The system doesn't know that. But I'm going to look here and I see it's an absentee owner, it's a board investor. So that means that whoever owns it doesn't live in it and they've owned it for more than 10 years. At one point they bought it in cash, but they must have refinanced it. So now they have high equity and it's sitting there vacant. So it's nothing but a financial burden. I can look at these different scores. These are our AI scores that's basically scoring it from a scale of 0 to 1,000. 1,000 being the best on how likely it predicts that it will sell in the next 90 to 180 days in one of three different ways. How likely does it think it will sell more towards retail price? How likely does it think it will sell maybe more towards like a landlord buyer potentially at a discount? And how likely will it sell below market value, a discounted wholesale kind of a price? So basically, out of 1,000 score, it ranks at about a 540 that it would sell in the next 90 to 180 days. And when it does sell, below market. So we can see who owns it, how much equity, which they have a ton of equity in it. They own it in their personal name. This is their mailing address. It was built in 1918, a little under 2,000 square feet, four bedroom, two bath, two-story house. Zoning, parcel ID, the municipality, how much land, everything that you'd want to know about this particular property, even the financials. When they bought it for 18,200 back in 1994. And we can scroll down here and we can see that when they did buy it, They did buy it in cash because there was no recorded loan. And then in 2008, they did something. They wanted to pull some money out, so they refied it for 101,000. And then in 2015, they did something else where they refied it again for 26,000 and some, whatever they did a cash out on it. And then you can see here were some of their loans. Now it looks like the combination of what's left is about 21,186 $21,186, which their monthly payments are somewhere around $128. And it looks like, whatever their interest rate is here, assuming that this is the one that they have left, that they haven't paid. Now, again, it's up to us to double check it. I mean, again, it's still systems. We're still pulling things from the tax site. It is possible that it could be off slightly, but we do our best to get you the best, absolute best data. So now that we know that they have really low payments, a lot of equity in their property, that it sits there vacant, that nobody lives in it, that again, we know all these different things. And now it comes time if we take a little peek and now we can start analyzing. So the things that I would want to do is I want to see what properties are selling for in the area. So we can launch our comping tool. And again, we can comp properties in the CRM side too. So we can do it multiple places. There's not one more right or more wrong way. But really, what I'm looking for is similar properties that have sold as close of proximity as possible, that are a similar age, size, style, everything within the last 6 to 12, at most 12 months. Again, we're gonna have to play around with it. Some areas may be rougher than other areas. Some areas you may not find a lot of comps. We may have to do it by square footage, or we may have to be a little bit flexible. But again, we're not here to get into the weeds of how to do real estate. We're here just to learn the software. So we can come in here and we can say, I want a minimum of a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, or whatever you want. You can change the distance. We can look at active comps, pending comps, and even the sold one, which is obviously what we're looking for. We can look at on market and off market, and we can even see what rents are in the area. We can change the square footage. Like you can go to a year if you want to. If you can change that. You can go back to a month if you want. I've never seen anybody go past a year, but of course, we want to be there if you do. We have 2 years and 5 years, and then you can change the style. So if you only have a single family, then why look for anything that's not a single family unless your goal is to change it to like maybe a duplex or something. And being that this house is 100 and like 100 and some years old, maybe the most that I want to go is maybe 1945, because I want an old historic house if I'm comping a whole old historic house. And then what I do is I come over and I click on the word where it has the word sale, and it gives me the cheapest ones first. If I click on it again, it gives me the most expensive one first. And the reason I'm doing that is if my goal is to renovate it to a renovated condition or wholesale it to a rehabber who's going to renovate it to a full condition, then I would want to compare it to properties that are in that renovated, nicer type of a style. Now, if I don't really, at first, I don't really care about active ones because that's not going to tell me what mine will sell for. It only matters what ones did sell for. But I still like to kind of cruise through them after I have a decent understanding of what I think it's going to sell for, just because I can see what my competition is on the market. I can see that if I'm where I think I should be, how do I rank against all these other people? But for right now, I want to get rid of active and pending because they don't really help me establish my ARV. And then again, I'm going to click on the word sale. Now, I play around with these low ones too. If I'm making somebody a low offer and they're like, man, that's so offensive. And I'm like, look, there's houses that are selling for 20 and 60 and 70 or whatever it may be. Okay. But if we click on the most expensive one first, it's a 0.2 miles away. And let's just take a little peek. So I just want to see what this property looks like. So this property sold for $532,000 back in March. And again, it may have been an off-market sell. So that may be why I don't have images or something like that. I mean, from the looks of it, it looks like a pretty old 2-story historic, Florida with, all that vegetation kind of house. So I may say, yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to give it a thumbs up. Now, obviously, you guys would take more of your time. I'd click on, um, the next property, so this one sold for five something, we can click on it. Again, my goal is to try to find properties that are similar to mine in the condition that I want mine to be. So, I mean, a little bit different in style, but we can click on them, look through. Hopefully, it has a renovated kitchen. Oh, that's so cute. Bookshelves, old, historic woodwork. Usually they have fireplaces in the corners in these houses. Yep, boom, right there. They have them on an angle. They have a lot of like sometimes pocket doors, original hardwood floors. Sometimes the kitchens are a little smaller in these ones. This one looks like it has a, yeah, it's kind of like an odd shaped kitchen. A lot of times back in the day with these houses, the people, like a lot of them, historically, the people that were cooking weren't the main living people that lived in the house. They may have had, maids or things like that, especially in these more expensive ones, or they may have had like outdoor kitchens and things like that. So sometimes like places had like a lot of in my area, we have a lot of like outdoor kitchens like 150 years ago. So a lot of the kitchens, same thing with the bathrooms, they didn't have indoor plumbing and stuff. But anyways, so let's just kind of picture and imagine yes and yes. So we say here our price somewhere around 523,000 is where we feel is our ARV. Now I can download this report. It's really cute. It gives us a really nice PDF document of it. And when we do that, it saves our property into our database. So if I were to come in here, go into my properties, I'm going to be able to see here, here's our property that we were just playing around with. And now we are on the CRM side of it. From here, this I like doing things there because it just gives me an opportunity for a quick speed date. And then I'm going to come in here now that I want to actually go on like a real date. Like this is where we do like the real analysis. This is where we're really interviewing. And so,
Jenna, real
uh-huh.
quick, just so that everybody caught that, just want to bring everybody back in case they were looking away, because this is like the number one question is how did you get back to that CRM? You got that lead, that property, and then you went to CRM. How did you do that?
Yeah. So like what I did is I was in my lead pipes and there's like numerous ways that you can do it. There's not one way that's more right. But like I typed in this property right here and when I
Hmm.
saved comps, when I did my comp report, because I created an actual document, it needed to save that document to a file. So it instantly created a property file for me. But another way that I could do it is if I was here analyzing this deal and I'm like, all right, I need to add this to my leads. My leads is like your shopping cart, like in Amazon. So it's like, do I want to skip trace you? Do I want to direct mail you? Do I want to download you? Or do I just want to save you to my database? So if I would click on this, it will go to save to CRM and then it shoots it back over here into your properties. Like your properties are basically like your actual folder, like your actual properties that you have saved into your database, whether they're prospects, leads, deals, whatever it may be. We want to be mindful of like how we really utilize this area because we can get really lost into the weeds here. Another way that you can create a property into your CRM is just by simply clicking this plus sign at the top of the page. And this top toolbar follows you every page. No matter where I'm at, it's always here. It's stationary. So if you click on the plus sign, you type in property and then you start typing that same address. If you start, putting it in here, you're going to see it's going to start churning its brain here and start looking for properties. And then I could select it here and hit save, and then it would be right here. So there's numerous ways that we can save it into our database. But in the lead pipes, the property leads, this is where we go to find our motivated sellers or to look at the data on just one particular address up to the whole country. But then the property section, this is actually like our database, our actual leads that we have that we've saved. And so I can grab this property from here. And this is where I can start to analyze it. So if you say, look, I need to pull comps, well, we can pull comps all over again, just like we did on the lead engine side. We do have a document section. So you'll see here, because I saved that comp report, this is what it puts together for you. And this is really cool for those wholesalers that want to push this deal out because it puts this together. All we had to do was say thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, generate report, and this is put together. Now, question is, can I get this off of there with the deal finders? No, it's got to be on there, but it's going to have the address, all the stats about it, everything we looked at. It will have our what we feel it's going to sell for. And the reason that we feel that way is because of these 3 or 5 or 12 or however many comps that you thumbs upped. And it puts them side by side with the subject property with all the current information, which is really powerful because if we say to somebody, we think this is going to sell for 320 or 3 whatever or 520, well, here's why, because this one sold, that one sold, this one sold. And then again, like, I mean, you can add pictures and do whatever you want on your own, but it's just a really cool document. So for us to analyze a deal, guys, like, well, first off, let me take a step back. When I talk to these sellers on the phone, a lot of times, and I don't know how new some of you guys are, but if you're new and you're scared to talk to people, we do have a built-in seller script if we take it way back. which this is just a nice organized list of questions that will prompt you on what to say. Are you the owner on title? No? Oh, you're not. Okay, well, who is? Okay, now is there a mortgage on the property? Are you the mortgage holder? Okay, great. Do you live in it? I can see it's a 4 bedroom, 2 bath. Is that pretty accurate? Okay, perfect. Now tell me any special features about it or what needs done or what repairs have been done and when was the kitchen updated and do you want to sell it and how much do you owe? And like again, the main thing, like we could have a script like this, but the way I usually go by 4 bullet points. My goal talking to them is to figure out how much do they want to sell it for? When do they want to sell it? Why do they want to sell it? And what's the current condition of the property? That's really all I care about because from there I can analyze the deal. Because when I go to analyze it, my three main numbers that I really care about, what will it sell for? How much will it cost to fix it? And what am I going to offer on that property? Those are just the three. If somebody gave me three numbers and assuming they were accurate, I could analyze a deal in like 2 seconds for you. Again, assuming it's accurate. Like it's up to us to do the work. One cool thing too that I do want to show you though, before I dive completely into the CRM, when we go back to that lead pipes area, those of you who do have our version that does have the AI tools, when you type in a property here, you can click on this analyze property button and it's going to quickly analyze your deal for you. It's looking at probably trillions of data points, all kind of different things like what are properties selling for? It's looking at the AVM, it's looking at how much they owe, it's looking at all these different factors here with like the absentee owners, it's looking at previously listed information, what they bought at first, school districts, tons of different things. But you'll tell the system, sorry, somebody's asking a question. Or is that just let me mute whoever that is. I don't know if we're supposed to hear your conversation. Okay. Let me mute you. All right. Okay. But you'll tell the system what kind of an investor you are. Like, are you a wholesaler? Do you buy creatively, like subject to? Are you a rehabber? Do you like to hold them? Like, what's your niche? Like, if you're a wholesaler, like we'll just throw this in here and save it. And now the system is going to look at it as a wholesale deal. And this is
You
cool
are, hold on, you're not sharing your screen right now.
too.
Somehow we lost it.
Okay, let me look at it. You seeing it?
Yep, we're back.
Okay. So you'll come in here and you'll put in that it's a like whatever kind of buying strategy that you are, and then it will say, all right, let's look at it. For a wholesale, it's a good fit. Why? Well, here it has very high equity. It's an absentee owner. It's vacant. It's older. It tells you things to look for. Like super cool. And like those of you who are kind of like a hybrid investor where you do a little bit of everything, like I've been flipping properties for 12 years. I do wholesaling. I have a rental portfolio. I've done Airbnbs. I've done commercial. I'm a realtor. Like I've done a lot of cool things. But where you're really good is if you can do a multitude of things. So if we look at it and say, look, is this a good sub-2 deal? Like obviously it's going to be. I mean, because they hardly owe anything on it. But we can look at it and their payments are like, 100 and something dollars a month, and the rents we could see are 17 or whatever, $100. But it takes it a second and it scrubs it against. It says it's a fair fit, because it has like, decent interest rate, whatever it is. Motivators, obviously it could be a burden, stuff like that. But, the thing that it wants to bring to our awareness of why it doesn't say it's a slam dunk is because, it has, past foreclosures, judgments, things like that. So again, it's scrubbing all this data. It's pulling it from our data, but it's also pulling it outside of our data. It's pulling it from like just the internet in general. Like sometimes it will tell you stuff about school districts, sometimes it will say things about crime ratings, like really cool data that it's able to pull. Like no property, one property is the same. Okay. So now going back here, we have that seller script to be able to grab all the info because for me to analyze it, I need to know what will it sell for. We already established that $523,000. Next thing I need to figure out is how much will it cost to renovate that. Well, good thing on the call, I asked them about the current condition of their property, and now we have a built-in repair estimator. I'm going to just set the standard, guys, and let you guys know that you can change all of your default settings. I like to say that because every time I show this, I'll get somebody that will say, hey, well, it cost me more to redo my roof than your numbers. Okay, then change it. You can change it on the fly. You can change it forever. It doesn't, you can do that. But I would say to you, if you don't know your numbers like pretty spot on, then leave it the way it is because it is a national average number. It includes labor and material combined. Is it more directed towards like better wholesale kind of investor prices? Yes. Is it retail prices? No. But it's going to be up to you that you can go in. And I will say I've taught real estate for years all across the country, and the number's pretty accurate, the grand total number. Because in some markets you may pay more for roofs, but maybe pay less on tile, more for a kitchen, but less on painting. So usually the grand total number is usually pretty accurate. But again, you will all see the same numbers and it includes labor and material. But what we'll do is we'll go in here and we'll go to create, and it's going to take the square footage of the house, and as long as we can either ask them good quality questions, or if we can use our eyes and say, yep, that roof is terrible. Yep, your kitchen's terrible. Bathroom needs redone. Yes, it needs new flooring. Yes, it needs new paint, whatever it may be. Then if we can simply just say yes, then it's going to calculate the number for us. Now, again, we can change the numbers right here and now if you want to. You can change the square footage. You can change the units of measurement. So if you say, you know what, I don't measure my roofs by square footage. I do it by square. Well, you can change that in that presets where I showed you guys that earlier. But you'll see everything from the outside of the roof of the house, to the roof, the gutters. Let's say that you talk to them and they said, look, we need it's these older historic windows. There's about 15 of them, which probably isn't more than that, but we'll say 20 windows. And then it calculates your number. And then again, we keep going. Tell me about your garage. Some investors pull this up when they're talking to a seller. They'll say, okay, so tell me a little bit, are your porches, are they in good condition? Oh, actually, you have to replace one of them. Okay. Now, tell me, are you on septic? Does it need painted on the inside? Yes. Now, again, it's up to you guys. It's just pulling the house square footage. If you want to, it doesn't know if the house has 11-foot ceilings. It doesn't know that. So the wall square footage is going to be obviously different from the livable, walkable square footage, but it just throws something in here to get you started. But you can come in here. Let's say that they said, it does have flooring, but it's probably going to need to be all redone. Or, maybe you're going to put all new hardwood in here, 1,000 square feet of it, because their pets were terrible. And then maybe you're going to throw some carpet upstairs in the bedrooms. Again, I'm just totally making this stuff up. And maybe some ceramic tile in the kitchen and the bathroom. Maybe we'll do about 200, 200, whatever. Again, making numbers up. Now you're going to see that the kitchen and the bathrooms, you can either do them by item or as a group. Now, the reason this is here is because our goal is to come through and analyze and look at this property in 5-10 minutes max. Like I know I'm spending a whole hour with you guys, but obviously I'm teaching you guys how to use the system at the same time. But if I were to come in here and I say, okay, does it need a new bathroom? Yes. I want to come in here and I just want to click a button and say full bathroom, boom, 6 grand. Now, by all means, I could come in and select my tub, my toilet, my surround, my wiring, my plumbing, the light switches, the like all the different things that go into it. But if you were to take a bathroom and assume it's coming from the ground up from like just being studs, this bathroom fee right here, this will include everything for your bathroom other than the floors and other than any sort of wall work. So no drywall, no painting, no tile or carpet. I'll be equal opportunity if you're a carpet in the bathroom kind of early 70s kind of people. But so it will include everything, the wiring, the plumbing, the tub, the toilet paper holder, the mirror, faucets, you name it. That's assuming it includes everything. Now, can you change it? Heck yeah. Do you want to do it by item? Yeah, you can. Put in your vanity, put in your sink, do it all. But it's just a way for you to come in here and say, yeah, it needs a bathroom. Actually, it needs two. You'll see that there's a section for a half bath or a large, like a primary suite, because that would kind of be more expensive, assuming like double bowl sinks, jacuzzi tub, walk-in showers, like a little bit higher end quality. Same thing whenever we look at our kitchens. If we were, let me minimize some of these things here. If we look at our kitchens, you can do it all by item or you can do it as a group and say, you know what, this is probably going to be a median end kind of a kitchen, boom, 12 grand and moving on. And that kitchen will include everything for your kitchen, like your countertops, your cabinets, your backsplash, your sink, your faucet, light switches, plumbing, everything, except for your appliances in this condition, and no floors, no walls. So if you wanted to put in appliances, boom. Okay. Then you'll see here we have framing, and if you want to insulate, if you need to do any drywall, any patching. And guys, the best way for you to learn this is you got to get in here and do it. Like I could show it to you, but until you come in here and play around with it, that's where you get good. That's where you get experienced. If you need doors and wall or trim, anything with the basement or the foundation, let's say that it needs a new HVAC, like anything from a whole new system, just down to getting it serviced. Now, again, you can change any of these prices. It's up to you. I always add in a 10 to 20% contingency anyways in my deals. But plumbing, I mean, we already accounted for all the plumbing in most of our water areas. Like maybe at most we need like a hot water tank or something like that, or maybe like a hose outside or whatever. But then you'll see here we have like electrical, anything from rewiring the whole house to just, electric panel. Maybe you have to do just new light fixtures in a house or whatever it is, demo dumpsters, staging, permits, all this kind of stuff. And you can see, I mean, we didn't even do siding, we didn't even do drywall. I mean, you can see how easy it is to get really quick on these numbers. Now, I usually will put in at least like a 10% contingency. This is my whoops factor. This is if my costs are different than your area. This is if I run into knob and tube wiring and old outdated 2x4s in the walls and I have to reframe something. And again, you don't know what you're going to deal with a house, galvanized plumbing, terracotta plumbing, stuff that's just, weird. So, we're at about 96K. Now, and you can add stuff too. Like if you come in here and say, I want to add something that I didn't see in here. Like pretty much everything you could run into is most likely going to be here, other than like maybe you want to do a metal roof and not a shingle roof. But I mean, you can kind of compromise and, kind of change a price if it's any different. But if it's anything like my area, I mean, they're pretty comparable. But I'm going to come up here and you'll see that we can generate a document. So if we go into the document section, let's go here. You're going to see here that we have our, did it not save it? I'm going to kick it. And that's why it was yelling at me to save it. Let me come back in here. Um, Let me go back to my repair estimator, but I'm just going to throw in a couple things in here. Oh, yeah, it did save it. I just moved too quick for it. Okay, let me go to generate documents now. Okay, let me go in here. Let me see if this is one. Okay, so this is what we just did here. So everything we did, I mean, you can give these to your contractors. I know some people will say, well, why would you do this? What if they could do it cheaper? Well, what if I know that this is a good deal? What if I know that I accounted for everything? What if I don't have to wait 2 weeks for a bid? Would it just be easier to tell them what I'm going to pay them to be able to labor and material, do my whole job and tell them everything that I want? Maybe it's quicker. I wouldn't probably recommend giving this to a wholesaler. But this is what I give my lenders whenever I tell them I need $96,581.80 for repairs, and they say why, and they can come in here and justify it by looking at that. Now, if we come back in here, so we figured out what it will cost to what it will sell for. We figured out it's going to be about 100K to renovate it. And again, I just threw that in there quickly. That's why it's up to you to ask good quality questions. Like the software is only going to be as good as what you guys put into it. Because if we come back here, like we can play around with this. Like if I wanted to, like you'll see here, there's photos and videos. Like there's tons of different ways that you can really capitalize on this on the CRM. Like let's say you wanted to throw in some images of it. So let's go here. Let's do a deal or no deal. Let's just throw in a couple images here. Let's just say, let's do an outside one, awesome wiring. Okay, maybe we'll do like let's do a kitchen one. Okay, let's just say that here's our subject property here. We've uploaded some images of it. I know it looks great. You could come in here, put in this primary photo right now, and then come back here and do a quick little refresher. And now your file has, let's go back here, has an actual face to it. So this is a cool way. And this is where you guys can store your photos of the property. So you can put your bids and things like that. Like you can use it however you want. Like how we use ours is we have a color coding type of thing that we do. Greens are properties that we are actively making offers on or hot leads. Properties that are yellow are people that have been contacted and have not got a hold of them. Reds are properties. We were doing some stuff in Rhode Island and Massachusetts, so currently we use red for the New England areas. Blue, we use this for a realtor, any sort of a referral. So we do have a realtor on our team, and what we do is we turn it blue and I tag her on it, and then she knows that she comes in, she filters by blue, and she looks at the ones that she's going to try to get as a listing because we've tried everything else. Black is going to be something that maybe they want to sell, but they're not super motivated or nothing like right now. So then you can have follow up with it. And you could even do it based on a star system. Like if you say, you know what, I give this one a 3 star or a 2 star. Because when you come back into your properties, guys, you can see how now that one's green, but you also can filter by green, or you could filter by your stars, or however you want to do it. Or you could even put in like certain, like you'll see here, different tags. Like I could put in a specific keyword here. And then if I go into my properties, you're going to see here where I can then search by tags. Like, so if I say like, hot lead or whatever I want to do, like I can, or I can tag somebody else in them. You can see here, like, if we had multiple team members, we could tag each other and things like that. Like how you use this part is totally up to you. Some people crush it and they use it a lot. Some people are like, I don't really care about these little tools because I know what to say to a seller. Like I'm kind of past that. But if you have maybe VAs or something like that that you want to start using it, but again, so we know what it will sell for, or we are assuming. We know what it will cost to fix it. The most important thing then is going to be figuring out our third number, which is going to be our maximum allowable offer. And we'll figure that out by coming in here. We either can do our calculations if you guys do formulas or stuff like that, but we do have a built-in deal analyzer. It's a really cool system. It's either a one pager or a multi-pager. It's just up to you. Do you like everything all on one page where you just put everything there, or do you like to do something and then click next and then do something and click next? It's up to you on how you like to do it. We'll just do the multi-page one. That used to be my favorite. The one pager is usually pretty quick. It's a good little bit quicker. But let's just say, and then you can look at it like, do I want to look at it as a flip? Do I want to look at it as a buy and hold? Or do I want to look at it as some sort of like a lease option kind of a purchase? And I know when you first get in here, guys, like especially if you've never seen this before, it's like, whoa, like what is all this stuff? There's only really a couple sections that we even need to put in anything, which is going to be some of those key numbers. So what are we going to buy it for? Maybe they said that they want to sell it to us for $250,000. Now, all this other stuff, it's just noise. Like it's cool to know it, but it doesn't affect our deal. And it will say, are you going to finance it? Well, if it's yes, then it will say, like, what are you going to put down? Maybe nothing. And it would just factor in some of your different transaction costs, but then you'll see it's going to prompt you. Like, I can't really screw it up. And it's going to say, well, wait a second, add your financing. Okay, well, I need to finance all that $250,000 or whatever I was buying it. And it just puts in some sample points and interest. And again, you can change all these different presets too. So if you say, you know what, I pay 10% interest in 1 point. Okay, great, change it. Or if you say, wait a second, like I have two lenders. Okay, great. You can just add another one and then play around with it. If you get one that's 20% and one's at 80%, or if you have different terms, like you can play around with all this. This is super flexible. You can put interest only, you can have it fixed or whatever you want to do. And then you'll just go to next. And then the system is smart enough to say, wait a second, what about your repairs? Are you financing those too? Yeah. Well, I forget what they are. So luckily we can come in here and just click right here and then just go to next. Now it's just going to ask some different things like, maybe taxes, insurance, but it puts in like holding costs and you can change them. Again, it's not going to make or break our deal. And then really it's going to say how long you think it will take you. Maybe 6 months, maybe 12 months, but what's it going to sell for? Well, we already talked about that. We talked about 523,000 is what we think it's going to sell for. Maybe you're going to use a realtor, maybe not. Maybe you're going to give a warranty, maybe not. Again, change it, whatever, and then just go to next. And then it gives us these really cool documents. Now we can save them in our system, but then I can also download it. And then what it does is like I'll click on it here. But if we go into the documents, it's just going to look here. Like let's look at our overview. And it puts all this together for you. And these are great. Like if you want to give them to your lenders so they could see your deal, or if you want to give it to your wholesale buyers. I mean, I know it has some repair numbers on here if you don't like to give them exact numbers, but we're going to buy it for this, we're going to fix it for this, we're going to sell it for this, and we're going to walk away with this. Here's our holding costs, our time, like everything. It does all this for you. I mean, we're not playing around with Excel, we're not doing all that kind of stuff. And then it gives you a detailed one. Like this one is for more of like you analyticals in the room that wants to see like return on investment percentages and like how much is it per month for holding costs versus all 6 months and breaking it down. Like it's literally the same thing, just way more detailed. And again, like these are really, really cool documents that we can play around with. Let me get out of this here. I have all those Zoom tools and everywhere. But imagine if you can go to your lender and you're like, here's my entire deal. Here's how much it will sell for. Here's how much it will cost to fix it. Here's my entire deal. Like this is like really like, I mean, to me, it just makes it really easy to present a deal to somebody. And then we even, and I'm not going to get into this because this will take us into the weeds, but we even have a rehab planner. Rehab Planner, we're actually integrated with Home Depot's online database. So you can go in there and look at before and after images. Like we have really cool 3D, like Matterport kind of images where you can virtually walk through a house. And if you say, oh, I like that kitchen, you can click on it and it gives you the entire material list. So you can select that room and then literally take it to your contractors. And simultaneously, it puts together a scope of work with all the materials, all the SKU numbers, and a place for them to initial at the bottom of every page. So there's not like, I didn't know that. I didn't know that color. But you could even build one out yourself from scratch. But this is a little bit more tedious. It's not a super common tool, but it's there. Now, other ways that you can use this, like how I use it in mine, is like in this note section. Like you can document everything that you do and you can save it. So you can start compiling really good notes and they're all time stamped. You can't delete it. So they're always there with everything that you're doing. Now, also, you can put in here, where did you get this lead? Because we want to start tracking KPIs and figuring out what is the best marketing source that we're doing. Was it direct mail? Was it a cold call? Like you can add extra ones to it, whatever it is you want to put on here, your website, whatever. How did you get this lead? And what kind of deal is it? Like, are you gonna assign it? Are you gonna double close on it? Are you gonna keep it as a rental? Are you like, what are you gonna do? Like, what is your plan? Because I will tell you guys, again, I'm not here as your mentor, I'm here as your software expert, but I will tell you as a fellow investor, deals run together. And if you start looking at a couple deals here and there, you're going to be like, is that the one that we said we were going to do this? Is that the one with the water in the basement? Like they're all going to run together. Now you can put on, what phase is it? Is it just a lead right now? Is it a deal? Do you have it in inventory? Like what is your play here? And then obviously, you can set up little things like, I made an offer, I need to follow up, or if you're doing multiple markets or campaigns, like any of this stuff you do and you save it, you can always come back here into your properties and then you have these drop downs. So if you say, you know what, like, I want to see all of my leads, or I want to see all the ones that I made an offer on and I need to follow up. Okay, or whichever, or wait, whatever. I don't even know what I selected. Follow up this one. Okay. Or I want to see all the ones that I got from direct mail or however you want to filter it. But how you guys use this is up to you. But those of you who really will use this will have a higher opportunity to have the consistency and the follow up and things like that. Also, you'll see here but okay, so we talked about the seller script. You can track your expenses, you can track your maintenance, like if you keep it as like a buy and hold, like you can put things like who's cutting the grass and stuff like that. We have a built-in paperless office. Now, this is like a little archaic, but it's something that we have. Like you can upload purchase and sale agreements electronically and then you could shoot it out to people. We have had conversations about merging with a DocuSign or an e-signature company, but it just hasn't been our number one priority yet. We talked about photos and videos, power linking. This is just a way that I can create a link for this property in general and then shoot it out to somebody else. Task, and then this one is a cool one. This one's not a super sexy tool, but it's a really cool tool because this is where you can set up auto reminders for yourself. Like if I say I want to call the seller in 3 weeks, I can create a task, I can put it in here, and then what happens is it's saved as a task and it will email you. You can set it up that it emails you a couple days prior or whatever you want it to do. You can have it to where it will actually show up on your main screen here. Like as soon as you log in, you would see any tasks that are going on. You could see it in your actual property. So it will keep you up to speed. It's like literally like your follow-up system on it. Now, also things that we can do is like we do have built in, like if you go into this communicate section, like a quick commercial break, is we do have built-in autoresponders for buyers, sellers, realtors, things like that. Like if you come in here and you look at like, and all the content's already created. Like if you say, all right, show me what happens if I put a realtor in my system and then I want to set them up on autoresponder, they will get emails from you for the next 6 months on day 36, day 70, day 100. You can see here, these are the days. And you can even click on these and you can see the content. Like if you say, you know what, ew, I wouldn't say that, you can change it. You can delete it. You can delete steps, add steps, see who opens them, who unsubscribes, like whatever it may be. But that's something too that you guys can do. Like you can come in here and see like it's realtors, contractors, buyers, sellers. Like you can create like your own sequence if you wanted to. But going back here again to our property, like we can create these tasks, stuff like that. Um, Adding it to Scrum, this is kind of like a Scrum board is like a virtual bulletin board. So it's kind of like if you were to have like a virtual whiteboard. So if we were to go, like, let's say that we add it to Scrum. We'll add it to Scrum. And then if we were to come in here to the manage section, you'll see that here's our Scrum board. And so it's just basically like a virtual, like where you can step back and if you were to look at the board at like your main projects and everything you do to it, like you can change these headers. Sometimes people will put like the days of the week as the headers. Some people will put the names of their team members as headers so that they use it as a way to like say, this is Emily's property and this is Joe's property, or, Jessica needs to contact this person. And so you can move it to each other's and you can have a scrum board for your properties as well as your contacts too. So if you say like, the days of the week and you need to contact this person by Thursday or whatever, you can move them to Thursday or add new columns. Like you guys have total control with how you use it. And once you move them and stuff like that, you'll see that if we were to go back to the property, everything we do is documented, everything is time stamped. So we put it here as an opportunity, then we moved it to evaluation. Now, and the last thing, I know we only have about 10 minutes or so left, but or 10 or so minutes left. One of the main things too is like, so we can use the system to find our deals, which is what we did on our first call. We use the system to analyze it because we figured out really how much we're going to buy it for, how much it will cost to renovate it, and really what we could sell it for. And I know it took us time here, but I'm just showing you how to use the system. So once you guys know how to use the system, and once you're competent at what to do to actually truly evaluate a property, this should only take a matter of 5 minutes, 5, 10 minutes. Also, too, we do have something in here as a way to help us liquidate our properties. Now, again, we won't have a ton of time to get into all the weeds of it, but every property we put into our database, it creates what's called a sell point link, which is basically like a single page, a squeeze page for your property, and you can customize it. So if we were to come in here and go to publish property, you will see that there's going to be this link right here. And if we click on it, this is your own individual squeeze page for this exact property. Now you'll notice the pictures I put on there are just so miraculously right there visible. There they are. There's the kitchen. Move in ready. Just needs a little bit of TLC. And if you come back here, let me get out of this page here. If you come back here, if we dive into this like little property section, these little sections here, again, are just other ways for you to stay organized. Like the activity section, this is where you type your notes. The property info, this is where we see the address. If you say, actually, no, it's actually a 2.5 bath. Okay, then change it. You can change all this stuff. Like you have control to change it. But if we were to scroll all the way down, you're going to see here where it has description. And if I say, it's amazing, like whatever I want to say about this property, this is where you showcase what shows up in this section right here where it has property description. Because if I come in here and I refresh it, now you're going to see it has 2.5 bathrooms and it's amazing. So if you were to ask me to build you a squeeze page or a website, that'd be like the worst thing because I'm just not techie like that. But if you were to ask me to build out a really simple ad or a page for you in a matter of minutes, like seconds, this is what we can do. Like you could come in here and you'll see it has price. Well, okay, well then let's go or up here. Let me get some of my Zoom tools out of the way. But if we go to the listing section and we say, okay, on the sale, what do we want to sell it for? Maybe I want to wholesale it now. If I'm getting it for 250, maybe I want to wholesale it for like 290. Okay, so I'm going to put this in here and I'm going to save it. So now I come back here, do a quick little refresher, and boom, 290. And anything you want to say, you can put it in here. Like your contact info, if you see where we went into the published property section, you see here where we got that link initially. There's a place here for your contact info. Okay, my name is Jenna. Here's my info. Here's my da da da. You guys get what I mean? I put that on here, I save it, and then I come back here, and then whatever I just put on here would show up here. If I had to put my phone number, if I had to put my email. But in a matter of a minute, 2 minutes, we could come in here and really put together a way to push this out. So also, too, I mean, if we want to, like, we have this really cool link, like, we could email blast this. Like, even if you guys have started building your buyers list. So, like, let's say, for example, let's say that you met somebody at a networking event. So let's come in here. Let me just do this real quick hypothetical. Okay, so let's say that you're going to add a contact in here. Let's say that you went to a networking event and you met John Doe, and his email is whatever, test@test.com, and you put in his phone number and you do all that stuff and you put in here that he's a buyer. Well, what kind of buyer? Well, we can put it what kind of buyer. He's an investor, a landlord, whatever. It doesn't matter as long as the slider for buyer is in there. And then I'm going to hit save. Now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put in the preferences of what he likes to buy. So I'm going to put in that he buys in the United States. Let's put that he likes to buy wherever he said he wants to buy. Where was that? Florida. And then it has an area for zip code. So he said he likes 32206, and I'm going to hit enter. And I'm going to select these areas. I can put up to 10 different areas. And if you have more than 10 areas, then just put him in your as a contact twice. It doesn't matter. Then we're going to save it. Now there's a cool tool in our system called power matching. And what it does is it works two different ways. It works if I'm in a contact file. I can click power matching and it will scrub through all of my properties and see if there's any properties that match the buying criteria of the specific person that I'm under their account. It works the opposite way, where if I'm in a property and I click power matching, and it scrubs all the different cash buyers or buyers in my database that have a buying criteria that matches the specifics on my actual property. So if I were to click on power matching, boom, would you know it? There's somebody that I put in my system years ago or whatever that I forgot all about, John Doe. And then what I can do then is I can click on him and I can go to send email. And would you know it? It puts the whole email together for me and even included that amazing link that we just kind of put together that it did it all for us. And then here you can add attachments if you wanted to put that comp report, whatever it is that you guys want to do, and then boom, send it. Now, something else that we have is this is just buyers in your own personal buyers list. And we also have community buyers, and it may not show any, but what this is basically buyers that are all connected via your Deal Finders organization. Now, there may not be a lot of you guys yet, but like let's say, for example, I'm in Pennsylvania and I get this lead in Jacksonville. I'm like, I'm not going to Jacksonville. I don't know anybody in Jacksonville. But let's just say that Andrew put in a buyer that he just met and they were desperate for a property in Jacksonville. He puts them in his database. I click on my buyers and I may or may not have anybody. But if I click on community buyers, then Andrew would show up on here. And it basically says to me, hey, you guys should connect with one another because you have a property that matches the buying criteria of a buyer that he's affiliated with. You guys should collaborate. It doesn't show me his buyer, it doesn't show him my property unless I want to. But it's a way that you can connect the two together. So this is a way that as you guys start building out your buyers list, that you guys can kind of do some JVs or however you want to collaborate. But it's a cool way. Again, some people don't use that tool or that feature, but I think it's one of the coolest tools that we have if you're looking for easy kind of scenarios. Now, I know I gave you guys a whole lot in the hour that I had here with you. We talked about ways that you can have all your properties organized. Your contacts are just simply the contacts. Like with every property you put into your database, simultaneously, it creates a contact of the sellers of that property. So with this one right here, like if I were to click on this, you're going to see these are the people that own it. And they're clickable. So I can click here, I can click on them and it shows me their contact file. So, so it goes back and forth. Just like if I start here and I go into the contacts, there's Larry and Susie because it saved them whenever I saved the property. And I can click on Larry and then I could click on his property and dive right in. So it kind of takes me back and forth. It's like just basically an open door between the contact and the actual property file. But within the CRM, we have all the analytical tools, all the business management tools to be able to analyze the deal, whether it be finding the ARV, comping it, estimating the repairs, looking at how much we should offer on it, uploading images, communicating, just really staying up to speed. We can have on here mortgage information that we can take notes on. Like any of this stuff is just for your record. Like if you made them an offer, you should probably put it on here and save it because if it's 6 months down the road and you're like, what did I offer them? I deleted that text message. Well, hopefully you don't offer them more, you know? So you want to save that. Why did they want to sell it? Like things like that. Is it listed? Is there anybody that's linked to it? Like if you're using an agent, throw on an agent on here. You can add additional contacts that are all affiliated with it. But marketing, this is just like things like opt-in forms, like something too, guys. And it's like a really simple thing here. But you're going to see here, like if you go into the opt-in forms, there's a seller lead form. If you click on this, you all have your own unique link right here that you can put on all your social media. You can send it to somebody. It's basically like just like a link. Like if we were to click on this, let's see if we can let's copy it. Let's see if we can copy it. Let's see if or let me just copy it here because I don't know what the heck where I just copied it to. So let's put this in here. And you'll have your own unique link. So when somebody clicks on this link here, they can put in their name. Like, let's say you have a bird dog and you're like, hey, if you find any properties while you're driving for dollars, click on this link here and put in their info. And then when they do and they submit it, it gets saved to your database, but it's tagged to whoever put it in there. So if they want to put in here like additional things or whoever, what their name is or whatever it is, well, this is a cool way just that people can manually put leads in your database for you. Or if you're out and about and you're like, oh, there's that property, and you just want to put it in that, click the link and just type in the address and save it into your database, you guys can do that. But things like our direct mail websites, we talked about our lead pipes really thoroughly on our first call. Analyze, these are just those different analytical tools that we use to analyze our deal. Financing, you can come in here and get a pre-approval letter or some sort of financing on your property. Communicate, this is what we talked about with those autoresponders. You guys can also integrate your email. It's not like the most like flawless type of a system, but you can integrate your email. Like I do recommend syncing an email because then you can send things from your database that look as though it comes from your email. It's not like your emails will come back and forth like it's like a like your email kind of a thing. It's not like the Apple Mail or anything like that. It's just a way that you can have an email tied to your account. And then when you send things, it comes from that email. And then obviously when people respond back, it comes back to your normal email. But you guys can do that. Like manage, we talked about, like these are some of the more like intricate things. Like we talked about the Scrum board, power linking, the ways you could have your documents. You can also integrate your calendar. Like you can integrate like your Google Calendar or your iCalendar and make appointments here and it shows up in your calendar. But again, I know there's a whole lot. The best thing for everybody is just to kind of go in there and play around with it. Like that's really the best way to learn it is just to go in and just see how it works for you. And everybody's different. Like some people may use some of those tools. Some people may say, I never probably would use that one, but hey, it's good to know like never say never. Like you never know when, you're going to use that tool. But that's basically it, Andrew. We're here right at the hour mark. Is there anything else you wanted me to highlight or anything? And I'll send you the recording as well.
Yeah, sure. And so I do have to run as well. I've got a call backed up to this. Are there any questions right now that Sean, what you got?
So one question, I tried the autoresponder and it looked like it sent the emails like I expected it to, one every day. I did like 3 days to test it out, but they all wound up in my spam folder. And I'm just wondering if that's something that you've seen or it's, just the USER error here.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I haven't really heard that a whole lot. I mean, you can ask our support team if there's something different. Do you have your you have your email obviously integrated into the system?
Not integrated. I used just the autoresponder system. I don't think it's integrated yet. And when I look at the email, it has my email address and then it says @realestateresponders.com. And that's how
Okay.
that's where it comes from.
Yeah, I mean, you could ask our support and see if there's ways that they think that they can avoid that. Like it is just maybe
Okay.
like when we created that part of our system, it was back before there were so many like spam catchers now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just it may just because of the way it's coming across, it's just it looks spammy because it obviously is. It's just an autoresponder. So I mean, there may be ways around it, but it just may be
Okay.
that's what we have. But again, like we're revamping a lot of this stuff. Our team is working on like a new entire CRM kind of user interface, user experience coming up here. We just had a development call team of like about 4 hours ago. And I mean, it's going to be so cool. So a lot of these tools, I know like some of them, like especially those of you who are more advanced, some of these you're like, oh, I don't know if I'd really use some of these like little tools. Some of you who are new, you're like, oh my gosh, like thank God I have those tools because that makes me not scared. But the system will grow with you. You're going to see it's going to be growing very much here in the next few months, but it's going to grow with you. So it's going to help you guys, whether you're brand new or advanced. So, but I'll send you this recording, Andrew, and let me know how I can help support you guys. And I look forward to seeing you guys all crush it.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Mhm.
guys, if there's any other questions that we didn't get to or you didn't cover or you need clarification, you can send a note. You can put it in the Facebook group where we had the link for this. That might be a helpful place to uh, collect the questions. And what we can do is send them back in. And Jenna is going to be moving away from the support aspect doing these calls, but somebody else on her team will kind of take that role for us. So we'll still have that contact, her team that knows this stuff really, really well. So if you have those questions, put them in the Facebook post, that'd be great, or email them over and we'll collect them and so we can have them ready for the next time we get a expert on the call. So which we will probably looking at doing that, 4 weeks or so, just trying to make this a kind of not standard for forever, but while everybody's ramping up into the system. So Jenna, that's it. That's all I got. Thank you so much.
Well, have a good week. Maybe I'll see you at the mastermind.
Yep, I'll see you there.
All right, I'll see you there. Have a good week,
Thanks.
everybody.